What's your thoughts on training? Do you think you've received too much, maybe too little, too detailed, or your trainer skips around too much? I'm Marty with Warehouse and Operations as a Career. Let's talk about training today, a much deeper subject than you might really expect. Here at WAOC, we believe it can really be the make or break point to our success. Let's look at the responsibilities being trained and accepting of that training today. I went out and spoke with a trainer this week. He works in a corporate setting for a large production facility and is responsible for the training of several different departments and many, I guess you could say, individual tasks. Now, they have quite a bit of turnover at this facility. A lot of that turnover is associated with the region and the facility's location, the unemployment rate, and the availability of like jobs in the area. He stated his personal belief anyway is that about 30% of the associates that just walk off the job or never show up for that first day of work aren't really prepared for what the facility is, like how large and busy it is or exactly what their job is going to be. His point was, and it's important to remember that he's in operations. We sometimes form our own opinions about the front office without really understanding their jobs. But what he was trying to ever so politely say was maybe his hiring agents weren't explaining or sharing enough information, maybe not really digging into the specifics of the task with his new hires like they should be or needed to. Another opinion he was holding a little tight to the chest was that he didn't feel like the supervisors was spending enough time with the individuals before they turned them over to him. His honest thoughts were that the soups should be really selling the new employee on the great benefits of the company, explaining the rules and the procedures in a very positive light, and encouraging them to do a great job, that the career opportunities are really all up to them there. So let me share a little background on his trainer position. He started with the company as an unloader on the docks, moved up through the production departments, and he's operated almost every production machine in the place at one time or another, and I believe he'd spent quite a few years on the assembly side too, before moving on over to the warehouse operations, which include both storage of the final products and the shipping side of things. He was promoted to his present position of operations trainer about 2 years ago, so he's been doing it for quite a while now. He stated he really enjoyed his work or the duties, and that the best part of his job is helping others find their place and be the best at their jobs. I really enjoyed my visit with him. You know, it's always great to be around someone with so much passion with what they're doing, and his cup is definitely running over with that passion. You know, when we're doing something day in and day out, something like a job, it's easy to get a little complacent with it, isn't it? And a lot of times, it's easy to get a little frustrated when things aren't going exactly the way that we think they should be. Or it's easy to be a little judgmental of others, even though we're not sure what their jobs are or have the information to ascertain whether they're doing them properly. Let's go back to the hiring agent that he mentioned a little earlier. We know they're constantly hiring. He shared with us that what he's hearing from them is the job market's really tight and their location is difficult to hire for. Oh, and I believe they mentioned that there's several other like jobs in the area. Could this be a training opportunity in itself? I believe that people honestly only no-show or walk out of a new job for roughly 3 reasons. I mean, they've came to interview with us, sat with the hiring agent or recruiter while the job's description's been explained, and then they had the benefits and maybe healthcare offerings explained to them, and we all know any job orientation is going to take a while. All this is information we need to know as new employees. But was it all really explained to us correctly? Did our hiring agents spend the time with us that they needed to? Did they answer all of our questions? Did they truly leave us with a visual picture of what our new jobs are really going to be like? Or have they done this so many times and maybe they're taking some shortcuts now? Maybe were they trained correctly? That could be one of the shortcomings. Okay, so my number one is welcoming. Have we welcomed our new employee to our team? The first day on the job is more than stressful. We've never met all these people. We may be walking into an 800,000 square foot building, people running around everywhere. We need to be prepared for that. I hope our new managers has greeted us, walked us around the different departments, showed us things like the eye wash stations, chemical shower, charging areas, and went over all the safety rules and the procedures of our new job. We as new employees should be welcomed. We're there to help ease the workload. Number two, I'm going to say is training. Someone has to take the time to show me and teach me what my job is. Maybe more importantly, how do you want me to do it? Your way or a new way, I guess is what I mean. Kind of getting ahead of myself. I'll explain more on that thought in just a few minutes. And then my number three is going to be management. Now, I think that sentence can really go either way. I mean, we may think our manager doesn't know what he or she is doing at all and wonder how they even have that position. Or we can really like the manager, but think he or she is stuck on one way of doing something. In my experience, job seekers don't invest all this time to just no-show or start a new job and walk off after a couple of days. I think as a new hire, everything that we hear during and after our interview is really part of our job training. That sounded kind of weird. What I mean is everything being told to us is going to pertain to our new company and our new task. We can learn something from every new person that we meet or talk to. And we here at WAOC believe we as new hires own that responsibility to be trained. I mean, look, there's going to be weak hiring agents, supervisors, maybe weak trainers. Maybe ours is just having a bad day. Maybe they're really great at their job, but today is just not their day for whatever reason. None of these people are going to be hurt if we just walk away. But we're going to be unemployed again if we don't do something about it ourselves. We have to ask those questions if the answers aren't just flowing from our recruiters and trainers. We're going to be held accountable for performing our duties correctly, so we need to learn them. When being trained at our individual task, ask questions. Have them show us over and over until we understand it. Yes, they're the trainers, but we have to know it. Let's hold them accountable to their job as well. I know this is hard to do. It's difficult to say we need to be shown again, but that's our livelihood. I don't know about you, but I'm not placing that in anyone else's hands. I spent all that time and my resources finding a job. I'm going to keep it, even if I have to get my hiring agent, manager, or trainer to go over and over a question until I understand it. Here's a good real-life story. A gentleman was hired, really excited about his new job. On his first day, he was told by someone that she hoped he liked what he was doing because there was no room for advancement. He'd be doing the same thing forever. Now, that wasn't what he had seen, really. It looked like a great place to land and kick off his upward march to success. That old human nature thing, though, that I'm always warning us about kicked in, and he began to really kind of wonder about it. Luckily, a co-worker explained the other girl was just having a bad day. He'd really enjoy working there and stick it out, that he would learn to enjoy it. Today, he's rocking it, and I can see him running a department one day. Here's another one kind of along the same lines. An order selector, first day on his own, the fourth day on the job, came back after lunch, and another selector had taken his assigned jack and the batch that he'd been working on because his had ran out of battery. He asked another employee if there was a seniority thing going on, or what was he supposed to do, go load trucks now? What was the deal? Luckily, the associate told him no, go get your jack and finish your own batch. Long story short, him and the guy that took his jack are really good friends now. Things could have turned out differently if he hadn't asked a question, though. Well, there I go. I kind of strayed off topic a bit. I hope I was able to impress upon us all that training involves a whole lot more than the short period of time that our physical trainer is standing there with us. It's really our responsibility to get trained properly. That's their job, and we can keep them focused on it. Keep them focused on us. We owe it to ourselves. Oh, and real quick, then there's this situation. Let's say we're an experienced order selector. We were with Company X for 5 years. We could have been their top puller even. We know how to pull, and we're pretty good at it. But we had to move for some reason and find another job. Now, it was pretty easy. Our resume kind of sold us on our new prospect company. We have to let our trainer teach us their way of doing the job. They're paying us, and we need to do it their way. Just a couple of weeks ago, I had a young gentleman really experienced at his new position. He'd worked for one of the largest organizations in his industry. He didn't have a problem getting hired on at another company in the same industry, and I thought that he'd be an all-star in like a week. Well, he never showed up on day 4. I caught up to him the following week, and he said his trainer kept making him restack his pallets. He wanted to stack them backwards, and that just didn't make sense to him. His solution was to quit. He just walked away. His new company was actually loading the trucks differently than his previous place of employment, hence why the stacking was backwards to him. Instead of conforming to his new job's requirements, his decision was to leave. We as new hires have to treat ourselves as new hires. I assure you, our new positions will never be exactly like our old one. Again, it's our responsibility to accept our training. It'll usually be the new right way to get it done. Now, after we've done a good job, we can share our thoughts maybe. Shoot, let's become the boss and we'll make those changes. But until then, our new job is our now job. And I feel we owe it to ourselves to get trained properly, accept that training, and become our shift's rock star. To sum up the word training, I'll reach for my old friend, Wikipedia.org. They state that training is teaching or developing in oneself or others any skills and knowledge that relate to specific useful competencies. Training has specific goals of improving one's capability, capacity, productivity, and performance. The definition doesn't say it's all on somebody else or that's another person's responsibility. It says developing in oneself or others. Let's all speak up, ask questions, and learn the new way of performing a task. Walking away or not showing up just shouldn't be an option to us. We're going to have to start all over. Well, I hope you enjoyed my rants today. Let me know what you think about training. Maybe share your experiences with the group. Hit up our Facebook or Twitter feed using that little @ WHSEANDOPS, or send us an email to host@warehouseandoperationsasAcareer.com. It'd be great hearing what your thoughts on training are. Until next week, remember our jobs can be dangerous. Be safe, and let's keep our shifts safe.